Are you ready?
Yep, let's get it. What's up, guys? It's AJ Mcdaniels, and we're coming at you with our first sports podcast. We ain't got a really official name for this yet, but we're going to talk about some pretty big things ramping around in the sports world. First thing kicking off the show this week, and you guys need to hop in on this. I'm going to introduce everybody around me. I'm going to actually introduce themselves. Go on, start over here.
All right. You guys know it. This is me, Marquise Murphy. I'm with the Youth Educational Empowerment Program. We kind of run these things. We do it. So I just wanted to talk. I was excited to just say something on the mic. Give him to him, X.
What's up? It's your boy X, tuning in straight from the 242. Know what I'm saying?
Hey.
Straight from the Bahamas, baby.
And nobody know what
yeah.
242 is.
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
That's just our area, dude.
All right, so first things first on this show, real quick, we're gonna talk about the new coaches, and I know you guys probably don't know a lot about them. I just did a lot of research. First one coming up is Zach Taylor. Now he's the new coach of the Bengals. All right, and the Bengals, they had a pretty good start to this year. It wasn't nothing special, but it did get them to be almost the first place in the North in the AFC side of things. Zach Taylor's an ex-QB coach. He coached in Los Angeles. He did golf his first couple of years. But, you know, the Bengals, they don't have a new QB. I mean, they're bringing in a new QB coach to be their head coach. Why are they kind of doing that if they don't have a new QB to use?
What you think about that? Are you up on the Bengals?
No, man. Bengals, it's not my team.
Right.
I don't follow the Bengals.
Yeah. But, you know, that's a good point that you were bringing up because he was saying that they bringing up a new coach that's a QB coach, but they have what's the name? Dalton? Is it Andy?
Yeah, they got Dalton. He's coming back. He's going to come back off injury coming next season, but he's also looking at the back half of his career, to be completely honest. I mean, he was drafted by Arizona a few years ago. And then he got traded to Cincinnati after Bruce Arians came on down to Arizona after a year or so. And I mean, he's just never really had much for his career. They may be looking to try to bring him in, try to spark something in the back half of his career, but I don't think that's really what they're doing. I honestly, this looks to me like they're gonna make a play for a new guy under center.
Then I see that's a good thing. That's something that you could talk about. We're thinking about because you know that I mean. Andy's been like the GOAT. They've just been the scapegoat for the Cincinnati for years. They keep saying that why is this guy even here? He's not that good. So that's something. But you know what though, I don't know about the coaching. I mean, as far as these guys, what they seem to have done across the board, except for one exception, is they went after these new young-looking coaches and these that were really, really, really limited experience, and these guys are getting the job.
There's about two exceptions. They got Bruce Arians and Buccaneers. That's the big exception. But then Vic Fangio down in the Broncos, he came in off the Bears. He's an older gentleman. He's an old man for the league. He's been with the Bears for about 5 years, and he's built the best defense in the league. We'll get to him in a little bit. But I don't know. Zach Taylor intrigues me that they'd bring in that kind of QB guy into Cincinnati when they don't really have, and especially not in a year that there's not a lot of QB talent coming in. I mean, Dwayne Haskins, Will Grier, and that guy from Oregon. I forget his name right now, but he's not coming. He's not even going in. He'll be next year. But I mean, you're looking at a year where you're not really having a lot of QB talent in the draft. So, do you guys think Cincinnati makes a play for Nick Foles,
Hold
Joe Flacco?
If you don't mind me asking, what's Zach Taylor's record? Like, what is it?
Zach Taylor doesn't have like he doesn't have a record because he was never a head coach.
So this is his first time
I think this is his first time being a head coach, but he's been at least at the college level. I don't think or pro level at least. I don't know about college. I didn't do extensive research on him. I've just done about his last 4 years. He's been an offensive coordinator and a QB coach. But I don't know. Maybe if we went back to back when he was a little. I don't know. He's only 30-something right now, so maybe when he was like 20, he might have been doing a QB.
He has time. He's probably going to
but I mean, there's nothing stopping him from being a great coach. It's just he looks like the wrong unless they're trying to make a play for like a Joe Flacco or a Nick Foles or like some kind of big name free agent or a big time like trying to get one of the only like 2 or 3 quarterbacks to come into the draft this year. I don't know. It just seems like it may not be the greatest move right now, or maybe they're just trying to build him up so that whenever there's a good QB they want to bring in, they have a good coach to bring in with that QB they already built up. Next, moving down the list, unless anybody else has
No,
anything
no,
to
no,
say.
good
No,
point.
you
We'll,
good.
we'll bring them all.
All right, so Green Bay, they signed Matt LaFleur, the 2-year offensive coordinator, one at the Rams, one at the Titans. Uh, he doesn't really have a good record. I mean, if we're talking, I mean, I know I didn't bring up last guy's record, but he doesn't really have a good. I mean, he's always Jared Goff's first year he was there. Jared Goff didn't really do good in his first year, but that's a rookie thing. But then this year with the Titans, I mean, he kind of dropped them a little bit. He dropped them down a little bit, and I just think Mariota had a less than average year, and Mariota's looking honestly like the back half of his career is coming pretty early.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You saying he plays for he's the coach for the Packers? That's what you saying?
Yeah, he's going to the Packers. He's going to be the coach for the Packers, and that's one of the things that people are interested in because they want to know how is he going to connect and work with your boy Aaron. So that's just kind of interesting. I don't know, but here's the thing. That's the point. This is another coach they're bringing in with very, very limited experience. Now some of these guys are older and have been around the league for a while, but these guys are just coming in and they're just getting a new. It's like a trend. Like you get one coach who did well for the Rams, and they've been saying this on all of the different.
It's the Sean McVay trend. He's just kind of brought in this idea that young guys have a new approach
without
or a new
much
thing.
talent, or experience.
Yeah, and that's a thing that you can do. I'd bring them in as like an offensive coordinator or as an assistant coach, but I mean, I think Colin Cowherd has said a lot about how the guys in the Super Bowl, the guys in the playoffs right now, all of them except for Sean McVay are over 50 years old.
Damn.
Age does not, define you. I know that, but when it comes to being, a successful team, you got to look at, what's already been successful, and it's been the older guys. It's been the guys who know defensive schemes, who know not only just defensive schemes, but know the other coaches that are in this league. I mean, look at the guys, Doug Peterson, Matt Nagy, and a lot of the other guys who have been hired as head coaches. They've been assistant coaches for Andy Reid, Bill Belichick, and other guys around the league that have so much experience and so much knowledge. And so if you're not going after a guy who has worked with one of the best, in my opinion, because Andy Reid's a really great coach. He has one of the highest winning percentages of a coach that's coached for 20-plus years.
Yep.
Bill Belichick, obviously, is a legend in his own right. And so if you're not having a guy who's been coached by one of those guys or worked for one of those guys, I think you're really just wasting your time.
See, that's an interesting point. Now, I mean, I agree. I think that you have there's something about having the experience. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And at the end of the day, almost all of the coaches who are still in the playoffs, they have that experience and they're doing something. But let's talk about what the trend is. And I don't know how I feel about this. I said let's talk about what the trend is, but that's not the way to say it. One of the arguments that you're starting to hear in a lot of these, hirings, because it was like 8 coaches. Now, here's the thing. 8 openings, right? Out of those 8 openings, I believe 5 of those positions were held by black coaches, and so they got fired, and rightfully so. Them brothers should have been let go. Some of them they were not performing up to task, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing to be said about the race here. It's all about how did they perform.
Yeah, that's true. But now the question comes back, and being fired. But now, what about the hiring of these coaches? Now, because here's the deal. Because this is why this is becoming an argument. If you have they're giving these coaches who have little to no experience a chance, but then you have these other coaches out here that can be and I guess the real issue is you don't have a lot of minority coaches in the league when you have a predominantly minority, as far as the athletes are concerned. These guys are the ones who are, who are playing. They don't have a lot of black coaches out there. What's the deal with that? That's been kind of a topic. And then now that they're giving these guys chances with no experience, it's kind of like you don't have a whole excuse for why you're not hiring some more coaches. Should this even be an issue? Because honestly, my thing is, and I probably shouldn't say this to you, I want to get your opinions, and then we'll talk about my thoughts first after that.
So what I think on my opinion is like, to all these new coaches that like are just coming and automatically just getting these head coach positions, like they probably at a disadvantage because they wasn't in the league as long, and like they don't really know what to do because this is probably like their first time head coach. So like I think the majority of them probably had a different position, like offense coach.
Yeah, but that's the thing. A lot of them have not. They probably were in college. Like the one who was, is it for Green Bay? He was in college for a little bit. Had like a little bit of time that he moved into an offensive coordinator, and then jumped to like somebody like in 10,
that's Matt LaFleur. Matt LaFleur. Yeah.
Yeah. So like in 10 months, his whole life just changed like in a win.
Something I'd probably put out there is that, we're looking at a league right now that is predominantly African American, and that's something that hasn't really happened since, the interracial sports kind of came in around back a long time ago. But you're looking at these coaches. These coaches are guys who used to play. I mean, Matt LaFleur, he played under Tom Brady. He played with Tom Brady. He was drafted with Tom Brady. It was either Matt LaFleur or Cliff Kingsbury. One of those guys was drafted with Tom Brady at the exact same time, played in the same room as Tom Brady, got to know how Tom Brady does his stuff. And then they bounced around the league, was unsuccessful. But the guys who are getting hired, they have NFL experience. But the thing is that
no head coach.
There's not a lot of
head coach.
Yeah, the guys who are being hired as head coaches, they have NFL experience, but the guys there wasn't a lot of black gentlemen in the NFL back 15 years ago when these guys were playing in the league.
Okay.
So you'll start. I have a very strong feeling that you'll start to see more and more coaches become African American. More teams hiring African American coaches because as time will go on, more and more African Americans will be former players and want to coach. A lot of times, a lot of the African American ex players we're seeing, they're going into broadcasting, they're going into having their own businesses, and they're doing all these other things instead of coaching. I think eventually, as we go forward, we'll find some guys who want to coach.
Well, I don't know if that's necessarily okay. What I think I'm hearing you say is you don't have a demand or desire for a lot of these guys coming in wanting to go up and taking on the coaching ranks or whatever. I don't know if that's the case. I think they do. Now, what they're saying in some of the different media outlets is they're not going through the proper pipeline because right now it seems to be the trend to get a lot of the offensive coordinators the job. And so but there's not a lot of offensive coordinators out there to pick from. Now, here's something that was interesting that I heard. Now, if you're looking at a trend for you're trying to get some of the top guys to be into the thing, as far as like offensive coordinators, now you have Kansas City Chiefs, who they had the most yards. They have one of the best records, and they actually have an African American. They
do. He's really good. He's done a very good job with the entire Chiefs offense.
Absolutely. Now we know that coach calls the plays, but he's still the offensive coordinator. There are 8 openings, and I don't even know if they even offered if he got a lot of attention. So.
Something to be said for the offensive coordinators who did get hired. They call their own plays, And when Doug Peterson, whenever he was at Kansas City back in 2016, he called his own plays. Matt Nagy last year called his own plays.
Matt Nagy got right,
and Matt Nagy called the plays when the Chiefs were winning. If last year the offensive coordinator started the year, Chiefs went 5-0, and then as soon as Andy Reid took over, went 0-5, gave it back to Nagy. Chiefs ended up finishing in the playoffs and losing against Tennessee, but. You still have to coach. He called those plays. This is the first offensive coordinator in Kansas under Andy Reid for a long time that hasn't called any plays. And so you got to look at that.
But that still doesn't make sense, though. Like, it's different stuff to do for, like, the head coach position. You can't just be an offensive coach and then, like, you know exactly what to do. Like, you have to learn over the years. But, like, there's other coaches on other teams that been doing this for years. So, like, really, what I'm just trying to back up what I said, like, the new coaches that just came to these teams, they're at a disadvantage. They're going to get, you know?
Yeah, it's a lot to ask for, some people to come in and try to do this and bring the heat right away. But again, like you said, they found some of these coaches coming in and finding success. Matt Nagy taking over and went to Chicago, and oh my gosh, they were like the talk of the town. People thought they were going to win the Super Bowl. And they could have if it didn't boink. You know what I'm saying. But at the end of the day, the question with all of these different coach hires is, should we look at this? I mean, not only are they doing these young coaches, but then, should we be concerned that a lot of black coaches aren't getting a thing, or that's not even an issue? I mean, maybe we should look at it and say, hey, we forget about the black and white. It's always going to be an issue if we're looking at trying to make sure we give a black person a job.
I don't think it's so much as a racial standpoint. I just think they just hiring the people who they think could get the job done. Like, that's what I always think it should be.
Okay, well, that's a good point. We'll see come next year how everything goes down, and if they made the right choices or not, or people are going to be ready to get the axe again. What else you got for us?
I want to actually talk about one more coach that we didn't actually at all mention yet, and that's Bruce Arians. He retired from Arizona back, I think it was before this last year, back in 2017. Retired, moved away, went to be a kind of a broadcast. He did a lot of the Chiefs games. I think a lot of us saw him be on a lot of the shows. But he's back in Tampa Bay now, or not back. He's back in coaching in Tampa Bay, and I think Bruce Arians does a really good job with quarterbacks. I don't know if any people. I heard someone say that he had a hand in Ben Roethlisberger, Andrew Luck, Carson Palmer, Andy Dalton's all of their careers, bringing them up, bringing them in, and for two of those guys, like Ben Roethlisberger is already a Hall of Famer, and Andrew Luck is.
He's on his way.
One of the better quarterbacks in the league right now. Sure. Andy Dalton's on the back half. Carson Palmer's on the back half. Actually, Carson Palmer, is he out now?
Done, yeah.
Oh, he's done. So, yeah, that's right. He retired last year after he did. Arians did. But a lot of people now are looking at Jameis Winston. What's he going to do with Winston? And Winston almost lost his job to Ryan Fitzpatrick. And Ryan Fitzpatrick, nothing on the guy, but he's a perennial backup.
Right.
He's a perennial. He's the guy you bring in to micromanage your quarterback position for a year. Because he did it when he was in Houston. That's what he was. When he was in New York, that's what he was. He was the guy they brought in to say, yeah, we just need a quarterback, and then we'll come draft one later. And that's what it's always been. So the fact that Jameis Winston, a guy who did he win the Heisman?
Yeah, I do believe so.
Who won a Heisman winner, who's now in Tampa Bay. Came out super strong. I mean, Jameis Winston leads the league in touchdowns over the last 3 years. I mean, he's been a really great player, but he ended up losing so much this last season. Do you guys think what do you guys think Bruce Arians is going to do for his career?
Man, I don't know. Again, a lot of these coaches I'm not very familiar with, and it's a tall order. I think you got a lot of people that you're trying to get out there and trying to give them some opportunities that you never can tell. I just do want to, just real quick, just a shout out to all the people that are out there listening to us, and
definitely.
Even if it's just sports talk, and so also we want to send a shout out to Mayoni Presley, and I hope everything is going well after school and graduation, and that you're taking over the world. But outside of that, I wanted to just mention that it is hard. You have a lot of different personalities, but here's the thing you have to know about any type of coach, because see, a coach's job isn't necessarily just on the offensive side of the ball or the defensive side of the ball.
Right.
A coach's job is actually to be a leader and to navigate the direction and give vision to the entire team. So really what you want to do is to make sure you get a person who will be able to share this concept and these ideas, so that you have a good coordinator as far as offensive coordinator, a good defensive coordinator. They focus on that
getting
part.
Everybody on the same page and making sure they have a common goal.
Exactly.
Right. That's the biggest thing about being a head coach.
Right. That's the key. And that's a little bit different, because you've seen that there's been a lot of offensive coordinators that excel as an offensive coordinator. And do
definitely.
great as a defensive coordinator, but when it becomes time to be the guy, they fail, because it's hard for them to deal with the personalities and manage the people and do those type of things. So that's really the real question. Can he?
A great thing for that is Cliff Kingsbury down in Arizona. He was the offensive coordinator, or he's the head coach, my bad, for 5 years in Texas Tech. He coached Patrick Mahomes.
Yep.
He coached Baker Mayfield for a little while because Baker Mayfield started at Texas Tech and then moved to Oklahoma. He was a QB coach for Case Keenum. He had a hand in. He was also a QB coach for Johnny Manziel the year he won the Heisman. So you're looking at a guy.
But okay.
Whatever. You're looking at a guy who was a fantastic offensive coordinator. Every single year as a head coach at Texas Tech, he was setting offensive records. But every single year, Texas Tech was a terrible defense.
Right.
They were one of the worst defenses in the league. Now you're playing in the Big 12, where everyone just throws it all over the place, shows off their QBs, their wide receivers, and defenses look really bad. When in reality, they're not too terrible. I mean, not many people know, but KU led the league in turnovers this year. Led all of was number 4 in the league in FBS schools in turnovers. That's really impressive for a Big 12 school to even do. But the fact that it's KU, not many people realize that.
Nobody cared.
Ain't nobody care about that. So it's really impressive. So Cliff Kingsbury, being a guy who has no defensive mind and no defensive skill set, he's coming into a team that has the number 1 pass defense in the country in the NFL. So I don't know, and plus they have Josh Rosen. What's he gonna do with Josh Rosen? Josh Rosen's only in his second year. He showed immense accuracy, crazy good accuracy in some moments this year. His offensive line didn't hold up and protect him, so that's the reason he didn't really have that great of a year. But I mean, what do you guys think he could do with that? What does that look like?
Well, I mean, you're talking about this is Jets, right?
The Cardinals.
The Cardinals. That's what I meant. Yeah, the Cardinals. The Cardinals. I mean, first off, is Fitzpatrick still playing? Is he still
in Tampa Bay?
He's in Tampa Bay now. He's not. He's no longer with.
Man, you just watched the Chiefs, huh?
Yeah, evidently, because Fitzpatrick. When did he leave Arizona?
Long time ago. He was at Tech. He's been from Arizona to the to the Texans, to the Jets, to then the Buccaneers.
Larry. What is the receiver?
Wait, you say Fitzpatrick or Fitzgerald?
Fitzgerald. I got the wrong name.
Twice.
My bad.
Yeah, Larry's still there, but Larry, I don't think he's established whether he's going to come back or not yet.
Yeah,
he was talking about retirement right now, but I don't know.
I think that's really your problem right there. I'm just going to be honest, because Larry got to go. I mean, Larry
still led his team in receptions and he was one of the top 32 players in receptions.
Larry, if you want to clean your house, just go ahead and Larry, love you, man. Go ahead and get in the radio.
Larry legend, man.
Share some, love with some other people. Maybe go back and get to your community. And great job on getting your education. That was all great, but it's time to go, man, so they can move on. Plus, I think his salary and all that stuff, I think they need to clean the house a little bit
Here's the thing that I'll say about that is that without Larry Fitzgerald, you're looking at a team who has, at best, third-string receiver on any other team. It's like the Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears' top receiver, Allen Robinson, was the second or third string back in Jacksonville last year. So you're looking at if you get rid of Larry, you're looking at taking away the only true weapon Josh Rosen has ever had.
Listen, let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you something. If you're going to rebuild, and this is where they're at, they have to kind of do some rebuilding and really establish
just really
players.
On the offensive side.
Well,
but yeah.
I mean, yeah, but that's the thing. You have I don't know how much he's getting paid, but I'm sure he's getting paid some ungodly amount of money. You need to go ahead and get rid of these clean house. You got to let him go. Trade him, see if you can get something for him. If he's still playing and if he still has value, like you said, let's see if you can get some type of something for him and put some other weapons around him or give him some other chances because you get locked in.
Trade stock is too good because of how old he is. His ceiling is so.
But see, that's my point. So if that's the case, if his ceiling is so whatever, and you got to let him go.
Just go.
You got to go. It's time to go, and let's go ahead and rebuild and then try to establish something because they're not going to be competitive next year. So go ahead, clean house, get you some, some more weapons. That's what everybody else is doing. A lot of people are getting these younger talents who they're great. I mean, look at even the Chiefs. They're paying
greatest team.
Yeah, the greatest team. Right. But check it out. I think the person who's getting paid the most on the team is
Eric Berry.
Eric Berry's on defense. He's a beast, right? But look at all of the weapons.
He also hasn't played in 2 years, but that's just.
Hey, that's a whole nother story too. But look at all the weapons that they were able to have, and they're getting them for peanuts.
Well, it's not that they were getting them for peanuts. They're still on rookie. Besides Travis Kelce, they were all still on rookie contracts.
That's what I'm saying.
I think Tyree Hill just signed an extension this year. to be. I mean, he just signed an extension on his rookie contract this year.
So listen,
Mahomes is
listen,
in his second year of his rookie
Arizona,
contract.
learn from the Chiefs because we about to do some big things this year anyway.
Right,
learn from the
right,
Chiefs.
right.
All right, that's what's up.
But you also got that's a risky thing trying to go through the draft.
You got to build up. You got to build up anyway.
But you try to find. But I mean,
they're a long way
Johnny
away.
Manziel's my number one pick right here. Guy who's projected to be one of the greatest NFL quarterbacks of all time. Go out there, be an amazing guy. And then as soon as he hit the fame, as soon as he hit the high time,
I don't know who got that information out there. That he was supposed to be
good.
about the
He was crazy good.
Greatest of all time.
He was going to change
Johnny
the team.
Manziel.
He was going to change whatever team he was going to go to.
I mean,
and he ended up as soon as the fame and fortune hit, he ended up completely dropping out.
I mean, he won a Heisman, but I mean,
he was the number one QB in
the he went draft number one, didn't he?
He did. He was the number one overall. I think he was the number
one
one overall pick for the Cleveland Browns.
He's not on the level of like a lot of the quarterbacks out there. I don't know what people be hyping up because some of these players, they're good in college, but they're not on the level. It takes more than just being able to scramble and run a bit before to be somebody who's gonna stay and be effective in the NFL.
He's my main pick, but there's tons of players every year who are draft busts, and if you get hit by guys who look so promising and look so good, and then they bust out, I mean that's a real risky. It's a hit and miss thing. Like the Chiefs. I mean, I'll even throw Kareem Hunt in there. I know he's like a bad name right now. Still,
sore spot, man.
Sore spot. But Kareem Hunt was a third-round pick. Tyreek Hill was a third-round pick. Travis Kelce was like a second-round pick.
Okay.
You're looking at guys who were late draft picks who ended up turning out to be huge.
Okay.
And then you have guys who were taken in those first rounds that completely bombed.
But see, that doesn't change my point. My point is you got to get rid of Larry because he's taking up so much of your stock. He's taking up so much of your, the salary cap and everything. And there's a lot of weight that gets on him because everybody knows, hey, we just try to, focus in, we double team Larry. Now, if you get him on up out of there and then get up, build the team up properly and, a little bit more diverse and spread out, then you got a chance to be competitive. Right now, they ain't going to get it done.
What you got, X?
I don't got anything to say. Just follow the Chiefs, Just do
That's all that matters.
Just do whatever you see the Chiefs doing, and you'll do good.
There you go.
We'll talk about that in a minute. But now that we're done talking to coaches, we're going to move on into the NBA because that's something going on right now, something going big right now because we're about to enter the midway point of the season. And, guys, who's your midseason MVP right now? Let's go.
Giannis, all the way. Giannis
Antetokounmpo. That's mine too. What about you, Mark? Marquise?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, I'm not a big fan of Harden, but the boy is kind of doing some real serious stuff. So, I mean, you kind of got to get love where love is due. And I know he's already had it. I like to spread the wealth, but, I mean, you got Chris Paul who went down, and Harden has kind of said, you know what, we're going to go back to our level of greatness, and he's getting it done.
Yeah, but that's like Harden's just being Harden. Harden is
Harden's
I don't want to say a ball hog.
He's just being the MVP. He's doing what he do.
He's just being a good player. He's got a green light all the time, and I'll give him that. But, I mean, there's no denying that Giannis is the MVP right now. I don't think there's any way you can actually fight it.
He is in top 20 in
5 different categories.
categories.
In points per game, in field goal percentage, in rebounds, assists, and blocks. He's top 20 in all them stats.
Now compare that to James Harden,
who is top 20 in two.
Okay, that's
points
no
per
point.
game.
You get stats. Let me tell you about stats. Stats are designed to just be something that you can help make your point on anything. You can look at anything because what you can do is like, well, Harden on Thursdays when it's a night game when the full moon his scores.
Now I'll always argue that's my biggest thing when I talk to Cowboys and Patriots fans is that you can find a stat to make anything right. You can find any stat to prove your point.
Right.
But when you put at the basic stats like points per game.
Okay.
I could probably find. Oh yeah, well if we play on a Thursday, James Harden finna go off because if the moon is a full moon, then Giannis has some crazy superpowers.
Right, exactly.
But like you can't really say all of that because like look at it, Giannis scores how much points again in almost every game? Like 40. Like that's a lot.
No,
Harden.
That's
Harden.
Harden scores 40 a game over the last 15-ish games. Giannis is scoring right at about 22, 23 points per game.
Yeah.
But like look at his team though.
Yeah, look at his supporting cast. If you want to talk about stats, we'll look at supporting cast. Who's the best player on the Bucks besides Giannis? Chris Middleton.
Yeah. That's the thing about Giannis. He's definitely. So what we have to do is we have to define and talk about what is the most valuable.
What makes
player.
an MVP? Because that's the same thing happening in the NFL. The NFL doesn't want to give the. I was going to say they don't want to give, but a lot of the analysts don't want to talk about Patrick Mahomes because look at who he's got around him: Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Kareem Hunt for half the season, but even Damian Williams has been a huge guy. Chris Conley, Sammy Watkins. I mean, look at the offensive stats. And then you talk about Drew Brees.
Okay.
He's got Michael Thomas.
So watch this. This is what we need to do. We need to determine: are we talking about the MVP or the MPP? And the difference is you have the most valuable player, and then you have the most popular player. And I think what we're getting with your Harding and your Giannis right now, they're extremely popular. And I think there's a case that you get them valuable because there's been years where every year, honestly, and I'm not, and I'll repeat, I am not a LeBron James homer. I'm not, okay? But clearly, LeBron James for the past 7 years, 8 years at least, has been the most valuable player in the league.
Right.
Where you could go from one team and move on to another team, and the team that you're on goes to the finals every year.
Yeah.
And then when you leave, that team is trash. That means that you're the
saying
most valuable player.
That plays is something I've said for a long time is that teams will build themselves around one player. I mean, if you think about who's another all-star. You think about the Rockets themselves. Take away James Harden, what are they going to do? They're going to drop out. They're maybe sitting at number 4 right now or whatever they are, 5 in the West right now. You take away James Harden, they're going to drop right out of the top 15. They're going to top right out of 10. They're going to be down to the bottom.
Right.
You take away Golden State Warriors is a little harder because they do have a lot of good talent.
Yeah.
But with the Trailblazers, you take away Damian Lillard or CJ McCollum. You take one of those two guys out, team absolutely falls apart. In Boston, again, done a real good job with bringing in a lot of guys. But that's, again, using the draft, same way the Chiefs use their players to get their good guys. But Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, you take one of those guys away, you have a team that's lacking a dimension.
Mm-hmm.
You just look at a lot of and LeBron is one of those guys that when you bring him into your team, the team will fall apart when he leaves because you built your team around him. That's what's been happening to the Lakers recently. The Lakers have lost him because he has that pulled groin. He's been out for about 3 weeks, and the Lakers, did a decent job, gone 3-5. That's nothing to be really strong about, but I think they actually have an idea of, hey, LeBron may be here, but he won't be here forever. We need to make sure that we have our players playing at a good level so that whenever LeBron can't play, we need to be ready to handle that.
Okay, and that's a good point. So yeah,
that may be why LeBron hasn't really been in a conversation of MVP,
right?
Because they aren't trying to rely on him so heavily that they can still handle it whenever he goes down. Because 16th year in the NBA, he's gonna start falling apart. I mean, this is his first major injury that's caused him to miss substantial time.
Right.
So.
So you still talking about MVP? What about your guy from Denver? Denver is doing some crazy stuff.
Luka Doncic?
People ain't talking. Because watch this. Because they were nowhere. Now, are they still leading the West? They're number 1 in the West, right?
Who?
Denver.
Nuggets?
Yeah.
Oh, you talking about Jokic?
There's some name I can't say.
Jokic. I forget it, or maybe it's not.
Well, whatever. It's the one guy that we can't say.
It's the European gentleman from Denver.
See, that's the point.
But
he's so valuable. We don't even know his name. We try to bring it up and talk about it.
But here's the thing: is that he's valuable in different ways. He's more of a team leader, and he more of gets his he gets his team involved. I mean, if you look at the Denver Nuggets, a lot of them shoot really well, high percentages. A lot of the assist numbers come from
whatever his name is.
Doncic or Doncic.
What he said.
A lot of his assist numbers are high. His assist numbers are pretty high for a player who plays. Is he a small forward? He's a small forward, I think. Yeah, a lot of his assist numbers are higher than average. So he's getting his guys on the ball. They're all making good shots. They're all really good players. So the Denver Nuggets are a good team right now. Now, yeah, it's a lot of it's coming through him, but I mean. It's always been my thing about the MVP is definitely a popularity contest.
It's definitely. So is it the MVP
always about,
or is it the MPP?
It's always been about, I mean, even with Mahomes. I mean, he's the hot guy right now. He's the thing. He's the cool guy. He's the big thing.
Yo, if he don't win, I'm gonna be super mad.
Now, but he also has the stats. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, if he doesn't win, it's gonna be mad because he has the stats. He's got 50 touchdowns, 5,000 yards. There's no when the last two times that's happened, a player having 50 touchdowns and 50 touchdowns period, because when Tom Brady did it, he didn't have 5,000 yards. He was about 200 or 100 something yards away. When Peyton Manning did it back in 2013, dude was MVP, almost undisputed. There was only about 25, 30 other votes for anybody else to be the MVP. And out of like 140 that get voted, he's like one of the most unanimous MVPs of all time. So everyone's talking about, there's no way you can take it away and give it to the guy who they're trying to, Drew Brees. And a lot of what they're trying to do with that is that he's getting so old, they're worried that his career will never be complete without that MVP, which is not true.
You don't need it.
Man has a Super Bowl MVP.
That's true, but if I remember correctly, I think Drew Brees actually did the 50.
Yeah, he broke a record.
He did like 5 or 6 times.
Oh, no, yeah. He's broken his own personal records in completion percentage for the past 3 years. Man's got nothing more accurate as he ages, and it's been really good. He's sitting in the pocket more. He's standing more. He's becoming more like a Tom Brady, because Tom Brady is someone he tries to emulate, because Tom Brady is 41, still playing football. Drew Brees wants to be 41, still playing football. So... and he wants to do it very well. He doesn't want to be like a Matt Hasselbeck who was 43 years old as a backup quarterback. Drew Brees wants to be a 41-year-old star, still talking about leading the Saints to the Super Bowl. But Drew Brees has also broken the most passing yards, and I think he's only 20. He's not even 20 touchdowns. I think he's only like 6 touchdowns away from Peyton Manning's all-time record of most touchdowns. But that's lifetime achievement. That's a career thing.
That's something different. And that's again.
He hasn't broken a season stat.
Do you give him the MVP because of that, of what he's been able to accomplish through his lifetime, or is it the MVP of this year?
I'm gonna tell you right now. If I'm deciding anything, I'm putting Drew Brees in the Hall of Fame this year.
Yeah.
Like he's already made the case to be a first ballot, all-inclusive Hall of Famer, no discussion. Him, Larry Fitzgerald's another one that I say is a first ballot Hall of Famer. There's no questioning it. But you're looking at he's still playing.
Yeah.
And even though he has done so many great things, he didn't do anything great this season. Just in the confines of this season, from day one of the season back in August to right now, he hasn't done anything super special. He's 7th in touchdowns. He's 6th in yards. He's not leading anything. He's not setting any records. There's no point to it.
You know who else is giving some love for whatever reason is your boy
Phillip Rivers.
Well, Phillip is
he's in the conversation still.
Luck. People are trying to push Luck out there for the MVP.
Well, okay, I'm a little bit more lenient to that. I'm a little bit more okay with that. He shouldn't win. He's still 11 touchdowns behind, but he's the second. He has the second most touchdowns in the season. He's the comeback player of the year.
There's
no questions about that. But when you look at MVP, he's 2nd in touchdowns. He was about 8th in yards. He was a big part of the Colts' 9-game win streak that they had, 9 out of the last 10.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was all consistent, but they won 9 of the last 10.
Or 10 or 11.
10 of the last 11, whatever. I think 10 of the last 11 with last week's win in the wild card over the Texans. But you're looking about a guy who was very integral in the part of the Colts making it back to the playoffs. I mean, without him for the past 2 years, they've had to deal with, being a laughingstock basically with no. I mean, they've had. I think last year they only had like 5 wins without him, and this year they've moved all the way up to 9 wins and a playoff spot. He's the comeback player of the year. He's 2nd in touchdowns. He's second in not second in yards. He's in the top 5 in yards, I do believe. I think he's number 4, number 3, right behind Mahomes. So he makes a good case. He does make a case. He does deserve to be on the ballot for voting.
At least the discussion.
At least in the discussion. But
Mahomes all the way.
Mahomes all the way.
I don't think there's
it's
any
done deal.
arguments.
But one last thing about that. Do we even try to bring up a defensive player for the MVP?
I'll say what I've always said. No defensive players can be the MVP because defense is too much of a team game. Okay.
Except for you had somebody who's like locking people down, like how Mac was at the beginning of the year.
But here's the thing: last player to win Defensive Player of the Year, Lawrence Taylor, changed the game. Absolutely changed the game.
Did he win Defensive Player of the Year, or did he win MVP?
He won MVP. He's the last defensive player to win MVP. He changed the game. He forced teams to start doing more double teams, pulling guards to run the ball. Lawrence Taylor was a animal, not of different proportions. He was the fabled like dinosaur unicorn type. You never see that again in your life. You'll never see that. If you saw Lawrence Taylor play, I'm sorry, you're never gonna get to see that again.
Right. So
Okay?
for those of you who are my age, y'all can appreciate
Y'all can
it, 'cause
appreciate the
Lawrence
fact that
Taylor
you gotta
was
see
a beast.
one of the greatest
Yeah.
players ever.
So-
Even Michael Strahan doesn't hold a candle to him.
And he was a beast,
and he
too.
was crazy
Yeah.
good. All right. So the same thing will be said for Aaron Donald and Khalil Mack. They'll never be able to be better than them, but they will be in their own right. But the thing is that defenses today are too focused on the team game. How do you think Aaron Donald was able to be so good? Because the secondary made the quarterback hold the ball for more than about 3 to 4 seconds.
So that he can get back
So
there
that he
again.
could get back there and make some plays. Now, there are some times where Aaron Donald would come within 2 seconds, and before the quarterback could even make a read. But if
He's
you look at
already
those, he maybe had like 7 sacks like that. He never had number one thing about being the defensive end is that you count on your secondary to cover long enough for you to get there. Same thing with Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack's playing with the top scoring defense, playing with Kyle Fuller, Eddie Jackson,
A whole bunch of other people.
and Dana Trevathan and Roquan Smith, talking about guys who are absolute coverage beasts. You cannot put the major side of them. And people talking so much about how Aaron Donald is the MVP candidate. Justin Houston, back in 2013, was half a sack away from tying Michael Strahan's all-time sacks in a season record. He was half a sack away. He got one more sack in his Week 17 game against the Raiders. He'd have been the solo NFL leader. He wasn't even MVP conversation. No one even talked about it. No one brought it up.
That defense, that's one of the things about defense is not.
But now it's Aaron Donald. Now that it's Los Angeles, they want to talk
it.
about it.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. All right, is that all you got for us?
That's what I got for the MVP. Now, guys, obviously, it's playoff weekend, it's divisional weekend.
All right, we got to make some picks.
We gotta make some picks.
We got to make some picks, baby.
Do a little bit of talking
I
about
think we
it.
already know what my man is going on this weekend.
So,
but
X,
that's
what you got, Chiefs or Colts?
Chiefs.
But what
that's
about
the
the
first
defense?
game. That's the first game,
It's
right?
the very first game. It's going to be snowy a little bit. It's going to be a little residue from the snow because there's supposed to be snow starting
Chiefs over.
around 3 or 4 o'clock today. So hopefully we get out of here and get home before all that starts off.
Right.
But still, it's going to be snowy.
Jeez.
Patrick Mahomes. This is Patrick Mahomes' first
Jeez.
playoff game, man.
Yeah, but you know what though?
Jeez.
As far as the big stage is concerned, I mean he hasn't done well.
He's
on the
had
big,
slow starts.
Yeah,
He's had
he
slow
hasn't.
starts.
I think the first game that they had, with the New England Patriots, it was kind of one of those. He started off really, really slow, but then he came back hard at the end. But he's been in enough big games to say, you know what, I'm not afraid of the playoffs.
But here's the thing. He's lost 5 games on the season.
4, right?
4. He lost 4 games on the season. All of them, primetime.
Exactly. They're all prime. That's a good
All
point.
of them
That's
were
a
in
good
prime
point.
time.
But
He has never. He's won one game in prime time against the Cincinnati Bengals
Yeah.
back in Week 5.
Right, but check
after
this
he
out.
played the Patriots.
Okay, but watch this. But in those games, the Chiefs only lost 1 game this year.
Really?
They only lost 1 game. Or I shouldn't say lost. They only got beat once this year. And that was by
Patrick Mahomes didn't save the day one time.
Right.
That's how I want to
That's
put
how
it.
right.
Because that was the Seahawks.
The Seahawks beat the
The
Chiefs.
Seahawks did a good job of throwing him off.
Yep.
But even then, they didn't stop him. They just contained him because
contained him.
they
Here's
still
the deal.
scored 32 points.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. The only game, I mean, the other 3 games that they
Yep.
lost was that they actually lost. They
The
should have
defense
won
gave it up.
each one of
Because
those
whenever
games.
they were playing the
defense was a little-
Patriots, they gave
Yes.
that one up the sideline. The
Absolutely.
Rams, they gave up one up the sideline. The Chargers, they gave up that 2-point.
All of those games should be victories for the Chiefs. There was only 1 game that they just got beat.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Seahawks.
And that was with the Seahawks. So that I don't know if I put a lot of weight in the fact that he lost in these big things because all of those other games were epic. Those games were phenomenal.
There were 3 games of the year this year. All of them include the Chiefs.
Yes.
Chiefs, Patriots, Chiefs, Rams, and Chiefs, Chargers was a very good game.
Very good game.
But, I mean, maybe not game of the year, but still, very incredibly good game.
Absolutely.
And it was the lowest points the Chiefs scored all year at 28.
Right, isn't that so? So for that, I'm not thinking that. Let's do this real quick because I don't want to get into this for real long, and I really have so much passion about this. But one of the things that a lot of people are talking about with the Chiefs is they're saying that Andy can't win the big one. He can't go after. And look, the Chiefs haven't won in so many years, and this team is this and this. That burns my britches. I don't know if I could say that on camera. No, I'm gonna tell you what, and I don't even know what britches are. My parents, my grandmother used to say that. Go ahead.
You got more?
No, I was going to just make my point on it. But here's what I'm about to say. The thing that bothers me about that is we keep looking at the history of what the Chiefs has done, and we're not realizing that this is a completely different team. It's under a different a quarterback that's doing some things that we've never seen before, and giving life to a team in a city that they haven't done in a long time. So I do not want any of the fans, especially the Chiefs fans. I don't care about everybody else. They're going to be haters regardless. But you cannot look at the past of what happened with the Chiefs and try to point it to our future. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Like, that's just like with our team at our school. Like, everybody's saying, oh, we can't finish. And what happened this year?
Won the championship.
We won the championship.
Hey, same thing. Chiefs going to follow suit, baby.
Right.
Okay. New team, same coach. I'm going to say this. And it happened. It happened when the Chiefs played the Chargers. It happened. Chiefs were up 21 to 7. What'd they start doing?
Okay, I feel that.
They played not to lose.
Okay.
Andy Reid is the #1 guy in playing not to lose. He will always do it because he comes from a time, and talk about older coaches. Old coach, he's respectful. If he's ahead, he's just trying to pad the lead. He's not trying to pad his stats. He's not trying to run up the score. He's trying to say, all right, let's just get out of here. Let's get it over with.
We got the victory.
We got the victory. Let's get out of here. And then they lose. And they give up 14 points to the Chargers. You give 14 points to the Chargers, who came back, won that game when they should have been down by over 30 points. It should have been another game where it was 37-20, Chiefs.
Okay, I can feel you on that. And that's a strong argument, and that's what people are saying about who the Chiefs are and what they're trying to do. But I'm still telling you, this is a new team. It's a new.
And you're right. It's a new team. It's a worse defense.
Is it?
It's a worse defense.
And
you're looking at this Colts team, and let's just keep this in the confines of this weekend.
Right.
This Colts team has the best line in football.
No, by far, no question about that.
What is the only thing the Chiefs do good? Rough the pass, get in the pack, again, put the passer on the ground.
Right, that's where
they sack the quarterback.
That's
lead
true.
the league in sacks.
That's true. I'm gonna tell you right now.
don't-
Look, I'm gonna tell you right now. The defense of the Chiefs is going to shock the nation Saturday. I'm telling you. You heard it right here. It is whatever today is. I'm letting you know that the Chiefs are going to shock the
January
world.
11th. January 11th.
Right,
I'm gonna let them know. January 11th at 1.
I didn't know we were gonna say that we were gonna release this tomorrow.
We're leaving this today. I'm pretty sure.
Okay,
I'm
well,
trying to
that's
get it
what's
out
up.
tonight.
There we go.
Yeah,
So here's
that's
the
fine.
deal. The Chiefs' defense is going to shock the world. That's the first thing I want to get out there. People are going to be amazed on how well the defense is going to step up because we have a history of a strong defense anyways. But then the other thing is you're right. You have, Andy Reid has some of his hiccups, but I'm telling you, this game – all out. I don't believe that they're buying in to the negativity that the nation and all the sports analysts are trying to put out there about the history of the Chiefs and them not being able to win a big one.
Yeah.
You know why I'm still concerned? Because on Monday or Tuesday, they had media day up at Arrowhead. They was asking Andy Reid, so how you going to game plan all this stuff? How you going to do all this? Like, they're asking Mahomes, hey, how you handling your first play? You know what they asked Kendall Fuller? Yo, how's your routine going to be this week? He said, oh, man, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go to my places to eat. They asked, where you going to eat at? He listed off all the places he finna eat this week. He's like, yeah, well, I usually go to Joe's Crab Shack on Wednesday. I'm going to have some nice little seafood. Thursdays, it's kind of a meat day, so I'm going to go out and get bighorn steak. I'm like, this dude talking about how he going to eat this week. He's one of the players on the worst defense in the league. He ain't talking about how, we've come out, we've trained hard. We took that bye week and we did tackling drills for a whole week.
Yeah, he don't want to give up. He don't want to give up the little magic of what they got going on.
That ain't magic. That's just trying to reassure your fans. You ain't even trying to reassure your
He's just throwing off the news reporters.
Thank you.
Don't watch that. He's just throwing them off. You know
I don't care. The fact that he says that is stupid.
He want them to think that they aren't. They are training.
Exactly.
They are
it's
training.
on.
All right, let's hustle up around the rest of the games. Los Angeles Rams and Los Angeles Rams and the Dallas Cowboys is the next game happening Saturday night. What do y'all think about that?
You know what? I'm gonna get in the face of the camera, and I want to take my time and just say this. And even though that there's nobody hardly watching, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I can't stand Cowboy fans. I can't. I'm sorry, y'all. Some of y'all some good
Coach
people.
Vincent, he calling
Some
your
of
boys.
y'all, some of y'all kind of cool with me, but I can't stand. And I don't want to try to sound like Stephen A. Smith, but hey, I can't stand Cowboys. When the Cowboys win a game, it's like they're weak. it's just gonna be rough because every Cowboy fan you run into is gonna be feeling like they about to take over the world.
We got Zeke.
Yeah. I can't stand Cowboy fans. So I wish they get smashed by the Rams. I do. I'm just honestly.
Okay.
That's my
Rams
pick.
probably gonna do that for real.
Either way, they're gonna just get him anyway. Huh?
Here's what I'm gonna say, because I feel like the only real analyst in this room right now, because the Cowboys is just a hated team. I don't like the Cowboys either. I don't like the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys fans are terrible people because they never let anything
They don't
go.
let it go. Right.
Oh, you haven't won. This is the first playoff game y'all won in 20 years.
Right. And now they think they like everything. Go ahead.
But there's such things as trending quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Jared Goff has been trending downward heavily ever since that Todd Gurley had to get off of his medical plan to keeping his knee from getting worse because he had a knee injury earlier in the season. He's been taking a supplement to take it to make sure it stays healthy, and the league has recently determined that substance is illegal. Gurley's playing this week, but he's still playing on a sore knee. They don't want to use C.J. Anderson because they feel they need their number one guy. But here's my thing. Jared Goff, as soon as Todd Gurley went down, he started throwing 6 interceptions. Like, he threw 4 interceptions against the Bears. He threw 3 against the Eagles.
In one game?
Yeah, one game. 4 against the Bears. 3 against the Eagles. He's trending downward. Dak is trending up. And Zeke is still... Zeke led the league in rushing. And here's the thing. I hate Cowboys fans because they always say Dak's the leader of the team. He's not.
Let me tell you
Zeke
something.
is the leader of the team.
Let me just tell you right now. America is going to be in a worse place if the Cowboys win. It's going to be bad for everybody. No, I'm just telling you, it's going to be so bad if the Cowboys win this game. I don't want to come outside because I'm going to run into a Cowboy fan, and it's going to be horrible. I'm just saying. That just my. Who you got?
Dallas Rams.
Rams, of course.
You got the Rams. You calling?
I like the Rams better. Even though, and here's
The
another
Rams
thing
finna
that
smack
people
them.
got to know is that the Cowboys, they train in Los Angeles over the offseason.
Okay.
They've got a lot of fans. It's a
That's
home away
true.
from home
It's going to
game.
be a home game.
It's a
for
home
them.
away from home game.
Yep.
So you're looking at 60-40 is a lot of the analysts are
Yeah.
saying 60-40, 60% Cowboys fans, 40% Rams fans because the Rams don't have fans.
Yep.
Nobody liked the Rams in LA. But here's the thing is that I still think Sean McVay and Todd Gurley, Jared Goff is going to get back in settled because he's got his number one halfback right next to him. I think the Rams will take it home.
All right.
Right.
Smack 'em.
So wait. So who did you get for the first in the Chiefs or
Chiefs for sure.
Chiefs.
For sure. Even though I don't
And
like
you
the
know this, man. All right. And then so you got the Rams.
Rams.
Yeah, I can't stand them Cowboys. I got anybody who playing the Cowboys. So that's what's up.
All right, now we're gonna move to another sore spot for pretty much all of us. Chargers Patriots.
Yeah.
It's the first game on Sunday.
What you thinking?
Here's the thing. San Diego is everyone's favorite to win the Super Bowl this year. I don't know what's up about that.
I'm gonna tell you why that is, but go ahead. But you already heard it. But I'll say it on the air.
I heard what you say about it, and I really wish you wouldn't say it.
No, I'm gonna say it
because
again.
Conspiracy
It's a
theories.
conspiracy.
But hold-
Go ahead.
Let me
go ahead,
continue.
go ahead,
let
go ahead.
me knock it out first because I know you're going to take about 5 minutes with
Yeah,
that.
It'll be that long.
San Diego is a complete team.
Yeah,
They've got a really great quarterback. They've got a really great running back. They've got a really good wide receiver in Keenan Allen and a really great backups when it comes to Mike. Like when you talk about guys who are second string and third string wide receivers, when you talk about his backups, they're some of the best backups. They're not really great on their own, but playing in that system, they're really good. They've got 2 of the best pass rushers in the game right now in Joey Bosa and Melvin Ingram, and they are so much better when they play together. They've got really good secondary. And they've got the weak spot on that team is the middle linebackers, and that's a big weakness when you're playing somebody like Tom Brady.
Mhm. Yep, because he hit that sort of
Now
spot
here's
right
the thing: the Chargers are Phillip Rivers, I'll say, is 0-8 against New England, against Tom Brady. He hasn't won yet, and the only playoff loss is back in 2007 when the Chargers were the number 2 seed in the NFL, maybe number 1. They had a first round bye. They went and they played New England. I don't know if it was at home or if it was away, but they played New England and they got beat again.
Okay.
My thing is Tom Brady, again, one of those quarterbacks who's kind of trending down. His age is starting to show.
Okay.
Now, if you're a Tom Brady fan, you're going to instantly say, well, look at who he's throwing
Okay,
to. I don't
okay.
care who he's throwing to. He's still throwing to Julian Edelman, who may be a shell of his former self after the ACL surgery. He may be still throwing to Gronk, who's a shell of a man because, he's getting older. And then, eventually we'll talk about the greatest tight end in the league, and then we'll have some serious conversations about that.
Kelsey?
Zach Ertz, Kelsey,
Okay,
George Kittle looking at it,
right.
and I know George Kittle's young, but think about potential.
Okay.
But here's the thing. I still think the Patriots are going to win this game.
Oh, okay.
I still think the Patriots are going to win. I like that the Chargers are so complete on offense, but there's just something about a California team
coming all the
going
way.
all the way.
This is the second
not
time.
only across the country, they're going across the country. And they're playing in somewhere so cold.
Right.
I mean, LA, what's it get? Like, if any of the LA people are listening, maybe, I don't know, this could potentially get there. If any LA people are listening, what's the temperature for the Rams game? It's going to be like 60 degrees. Any people out in Boston, what's the temperature going to be? -3 degrees.
Right.
How you going to have that culture shock right there? As soon as you get off the
They
plane,
need
you're
to
going
be
to
up
be
in there.
frozen.
Yeah, they need to be there all week trying to get ready. Okay.
All right, Marquise, take
All right.
yours.
No,
Or,
I'm going to
okay,
let you say
X,
your thing.
X,
Go
okay.
ahead, X.
So my idea with the Pates versus the
Chargers.
Chargers. So I think it's going to be a conspiracy. It's going to be Pates versus Eagles again. Even
Oh, you're making like a
he
full.
went all the way to
he
the
went take a
Super
Super Bowl
Bowl.
prediction,
Okay,
man. That's
okay.
like that's in 2 weeks, bro.
even though that's a big assumption, but like I still think it's going to be Pates versus Eagles again, just because like all two of them inside the playoffs again. It's going to probably happen.
Okay, so that's interesting. Let me tell you why the Chargers will win this game. Don't like the Chargers. I really hope they win. Because honestly, I'm being selfish. I'm a Chiefs fan. I'd rather play the Chargers than New England.
No, you don't.
Yo, no, I
you don't.
I'm gonna tell you, it's a mental thing.
I'll tell you why after you done.
Okay, but it's a mental thing. First off, we owned the Chargers. Okay, if we want to talk about history of like how many games we won against them and all that stuff, we've owned the Chargers. The Chargers beat us this last game on a fluke that we should have destroyed them. You even mentioned that.
That's
earlier.
true. That's true.
Right.
If Andy Reid plays to win, we're gonna
Right, yeah,
we
we're
going
gonna
up
beat
37-20.
I would much rather, we know them, they know us, but we own them, so I'd much rather play. But let me tell you why. I feel like Stephen A. Let me tell you why they're going to win. And what's the conspiracy? The Chargers moved to the L.A.
Los Angeles. They're playing in a StubHub Arena or something like that.
Right,
It's
exactly.
a soccer stadium.
Right. So the problem that they have is that they need fans. They don't have any. San Diego is coming down. I think I called them San Diego earlier. San Diego, some fans are coming down to try to support them. But the problem is they don't have fans. And so if they want to make this thing work, they have to show forth a winning team. And they almost kind of got there. But I already knew once the Chargers beat the Chiefs, I said, oh, they're going to win the Super Bowl. Not because they're good. They've been selling the Chargers all year. They're a great team. They're going to be the one to do it. I'm like, who are they talking about? And the Chargers have been an okay team or whatever, but I'm like, they're not as great as everybody's trying to push them to be. They've been selling it for a long time so that we can believe it, so that when they orchestrate a win for the Chargers, then it would be like, oh, yeah, they've been saying it all year. They're trying to do that because L.A. is a huge market. They need the Chargers to do well in the market. If the Chargers is a losing team and they already got L.A. there, then they're not going to get the support. They need a stadium. They need to get some love. And so the only way you're going to be able to do that, you cannot have a Super Bowl winning team out in L.A. just lollygagging around. You know what I mean? So if you want to make this work, they're going to win the Super Bowl because they need it to work for the NFL. That's what you heard it here first. And they're not as good as us. I don't believe that they can beat us. But watch, as soon as the Chargers beat the Patriots, you've heard it here. That means that they're sending them on to the Super Bowl, which makes me mad because they're supposed to be coming through Kansas City. But that's what the deal is. They're going to send them on through the Super Bowl, and they will win the Super Bowl because they're trying to get them to get the support and the fan base, because there's no way they're going to allow a Super Bowl winning team not to have an established home and support. That's why the Chargers will be New England.
All right. So first off, to just poke little holes in your little conspiracy theory.
There are no holes.
Why didn't they do it with the Rams?
What do you mean?
Why didn't they do that with the Rams?
They don't have to do it with the Rams.
Rams didn't have a fan base. Rams didn't even sell out a game last year or 2 years ago. When they first moved to LA, they didn't sell a game out. They never sold over 75% of the tickets.
Yeah, but it was
And
the Rams.
then
They
made it
already
to the
sucked. No,
division-
no.
They made it
They-
to the divisional
they were
round of
already
the
sucking
playoffs.
team. It was the Rams. Nobody liked the Rams. The Rams came from St. Louis, and the owner made everybody mad there, and then they crossed over to LA, and they did that, and nobody really liked the Rams.
But why are they selling out now?
Because they're winning. That's my point.
That's how it
They
always
only made
is.
the divisional though. Why you talking?
That's
Why do the
my-
Chargers have
oh,
to make it to the Super Bowl for them to be big?
Because they already got the same team.
Any team that's basically doing good is gonna probably like their fan base is gonna go up.
Say that again.
Any team that's winning is gonna like their fan base is gonna go up. That's how it always is. Like,
Exactly. That's my point. And
the
that's why they
bandwagon.
need them to win so that they can get the fan base behind them to get the support. I'm telling you. So, and
They
again,
don't need them to win out. They
No.
don't need them to.
Yeah, that's why they got a lot of support now as far as the argument of saying, hey, we've done this or whatever.
Yeah.
If we had the same
They don't
but,
need to win it
but
out.
they may not. Okay, so let's say they don't win the Super Bowl. But they will give. They
already got a ton of
If they
fans.
they're gonna definitely get to the AFC Championship by far. If my theory is correct, they're making it to the AFC Championship. But if my theory is correct, they at least go to the Super Bowl, and it's not one of those things that they're better. This is just a
But
conspiracy.
now let me explain why you guys want to see the Patriots over the Chargers next week.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Brady has never won in Arrowhead. The crowd noise gets to Tom Brady. Look, the last time Tom Brady played in Arrowhead, it was 44-14. That was Alex Smith's first year. A year that the Chiefs barely made the playoffs. We finished like 9-7. We were a wild card team. That's the year we went to Houston and absolutely smashed Houston because they were like 6-9, 6-10. But that's because the rest of the AFC South was absolute garbage. We went down into Houston, had a shutout, 30-0, and then we played the Patriots again, went to New England, and got smacked.
Right.
But Tom Brady can't play with all that noise. Even in what people still consider to be Tom Brady's prime, even though he was 37 years old, he couldn't handle. Tom Brady's only major injury happened in Kansas City when he broke his leg back in 2006. Completely broke, like not only broke his leg, but also tore all of the ligaments in his leg. Dude, only injury happened in Kansas City. There's mental things about being in Kansas City for Tom Brady. Tom Brady
That's a good
has
point.
to come back to
I feel
Kansas
you.
City for the Chiefs to have the best shot at making the playoffs. Because here's the thing.
You mean the Super Bowl?
The Super Bowl. The Chargers are still, no matter what you say, Chargers are still a very good team. I would be more concerned about playing a very good team over playing a Tom Brady with a mental block.
Okay, that's a good point. But the only thing
So
you have
as a fan,
here-
I want the Patriots to win. If I'm a fan of the Chiefs, I want the Patriots to win because that already tells me I think we're pretty locked in. Now there's no such thing as a lock,
No,
but I
here's the
feel
thing.
like, and I
Here's
know
the
we've
thing.
never played Tom Brady in the playoffs.
Okay,
in Kansas City.
Here's
That's
the deal.
biggest problem.
You're saying that they're trending down, and I like that point. But at the end of the day, when you have a team, or like if you got Bill Belichick and you got Tom Brady, their history and their excellence has been, it hasn't been, they're the team. You know what I mean? If they go to the AFC Championship game again, it completely seals their who they are as an organization.
Well,
It's
they
been
don't
sealed.
have to seal. It's been sealed for
It's been
years.
sealed. But then now, I mean,
It was
now
sealed out the ring 3.
this is freaking amazing if they can make it back to the AFC Championship with literally like a shell of themselves. So that'd be amazing. So I think that the Chargers is a stronger team than the Patriots.
I think so.
whatever.
I think that too.
Right. But I honestly do believe that, like you said, that if they make it to Kansas City has some type of a feeling towards.
They've got that noise.
Yeah,
And
no,
they've got that
that's not what
animosity.
I'm saying. I think if the Chiefs have to play the Patriots, they get overwhelmed by, oh, this is New England. Oh my God, Tom Brady is there.
We set the record for loudest stadium
I
against
know.
the Patriots.
Oh, I get that.
By accident.
I
That was
know,
when we
right?
did it by accident.
but my point is, it's still the Patriots, and there's that fear factor that you have. But when it comes to the Chargers, we know who they are. They know who we are.
You ever been to a Chiefs game when they played the Patriots?
Not when they play the Patriots.
I feel like you should go.
Yeah,
'Cause
I
I've
mean
never
they're
been either,
loud. They're
but
loud.
I've seen
When
it.
Yeah,
It's
I've been to
another
games and
level
I've
of
seen
loud.
when they're
Like
loud.
you have the
But-
Arrowhead loud, but then you've got Arrowhead when the Patriots are there loud.
Okay,
And it's
that
a
may be a thing.
different level.
That's the thing, and I'm hoping that.
So I've been told. So I've
yeah,
read.
yeah. Say I've been to
I ain't
them,
never
and
been
I've
to.
seen
I
them.
ain't never been to a KC game. I gotta get out there.
Yeah, it's legit. It's definitely an amazing experience, and it does get loud. But I'm just saying, at the end of the day, it's gonna come down to this: it's too much money involved. You talking about billions of dollars, and all of that rests on the fact that they need the Chargers to do well for the LA market because it is one of the largest markets.
So I have something to say to that. Even though the Chargers might not win, it might be a close game. And like, even if it's a close game, people still might talk about it. They might give the Pates a run for their money or something, and then everybody look at the Chargers.
Yeah, and which goes back to you saying that if people see that, if maybe they had a good fan base, then people can rally behind them or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Or maybe they're going to say, hey, well, this is just the same old Chargers team who haven't been able to get out there and get to the big one and get to the big dance. So why should we
I've
support
never
them?
been to a Super Bowl.
They had never been to a Super Bowl?
The furthest Phillip Rivers has ever made it. I mean, the
With this
Chargers
current-
organization has been to Super Bowl.
But
They've never won. I think they've been to like one. But with Phillip Rivers, the farthest they've ever been is AFC Championship. They've never made it to the Super Bowl.
See, there you go. And so that's the reason why I believe that it's in the cards. It's not in the cards. I think it's just literally a strategic plan by the. Because again, I'm a believer in the conspiracy theory. It's too much money on the line. You can't leave everything up to chance. There's just no way. And for people to try to say that anything otherwise has been fooled. You know what I mean? It's way too much. You're talking about billions of dollars. You do not allow. There's a reason why Clemson and Alabama play every year. And it's not because they're the two best, even though they were the two best this year. It's not that.
Definitely.
It's just too much money, and those are the ones that's gonna sell, and their fan base is gonna support. That's what they need to do.
Okay. So there's that little tidbit for all you conspiracy theorists out there and believing, loving on that. Final game and last topic of the day: Eagles Saints rematch of Nick Foles' first NFL playoff game. What y'all thinking about that? We already know what X thinks about that. Eagles up, but I mean, why? Why you think that? Why? What makes you so positive that that's gonna happen?
It's just the fact that I don't know that he won the championship last year. So, and then Tom Brady's playing again inside the playoffs. So, my theory is that it's gonna be a rematch again. And I wouldn't be surprised, but I still think it's gonna happen.
Nobody wants that.
But nobody wants it, but
Except
it's
for me,
probably
because I'm a
gonna
big
happen.
Eagles, so we go.
And this is my theory too. It's gonna happen, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, Tom Brady got his 6th ring, and now he's gonna retire." That's
interesting.
That's what I think
First
is
off,
gonna happen.
Tom Brady will never retire until he's injured out of the league, because he is going to, he's already said, I'm playing until I'm 45. Right, and he's on contract
Right.
until he's 45.
You're right.
He's on active contract until 45.
Really?
That's stupid.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But next to that, I love Nick Foles. Nick Foles is the man.
It's a great
Nick
story.
Foles.
He's
Not even just a great story. He's the greatest playoff quarterback of all time, in my opinion. I think
Yeah.
there's no way you can deny
But no, you
him
have Tom Brady.
that. I don't care. I don't care. Tom Brady doesn't have the win percentage that he does. And
that's because
he didn't-
Foles only played the 4 games. I mean,
And Tom Brady ain't ever didn't make the Super Bowl his very first time in the he didn't win the Super Bowl the very first time in there.
Yeah, count the
He didn't
rings.
do that.
Though. Count them rings.
Count them rings.
Count them rings.
Count the
man.
number of years man been in the league.
Hey, but count them rings.
Count the
eh?
attempts. How about that?
Hey, that's the whole point. He count the attempts, and he's been there. If he hasn't won the Super Bowl, he's been in it.
Yeah, it's true.
So,
But here's the thing. I don't care. Nick Foles, he's gonna prove himself over time.
that's a
But
good
here's
story.
the thing: is Nick Foles has been on a tear. He's won 4 games in a row. He finished out the regular season with 3 straight wins to make the Eagles get back to the playoffs. And then took down the number 1 scoring defense in the league.
Yeah, that was dope.
This man is the greatest quarterback in the game right now, but he is a backup.
Obviously.
Now, it
Obviously,
may
AJ
only
must be smoking
in the
something.
Eagles.
I don't
not
know
right
what
now,
he did
but
before. He done called the man the greatest quarterback in the league right now. I mean, we just got to talk about 50-50. Come on, man.
That's a great season, but this man has done so much more with a team that has so much less to offer. Okay. Now maybe Nick Foles only plays this way in Philly's system. Maybe that's it. Because when you look at the differences between Carson Wentz and Nick Foles, Alshon Jeffrey's a big factor because Nick Foles hits Alshon Jeffrey so much more than Carson Wentz does. He gets targeted. Alshon Jeffrey gets targeted way more than when Nick Foles is on the floor, on the court, on the field instead of Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is that kind of guy. And here's my thing: is Carson Wentz looks a lot more like a quarterback. Nick Foles is scrawny. He's 6'6", so he sees well, but he's scrawny. He's not very good at his mobility. He's got kind of clumsy feet, but he plays like a champion every time he comes into the playoffs. He's only had one loss, and that's to New Orleans. His very first playoff game ever, back in 2013, where he had a season where the man threw 22 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. Man has the greatest touchdown to interception ratio ever.
All right, I'm not mad at that.
Dude is the least gambling quarterback in the league because he throws so few interceptions.
I'm not mad at that. He's been doing well. He does well when it counts in the playoffs, and that's great. And it's a great story because I'm going to be honest with you. Conspiracy theory me says Philadelphia wins just because that was just kind of a dope.
Well, that's a conspiracy theory I'll agree with.
Yeah. But that would be kind of dope to be that story because they looked like they were dead in the water. Then all of a sudden
This is the second time they've been dead in the water. Last time they were the number 1 seed, lost their quarterback to a torn ACL, and they looked, oh man, well there goes a perfectly great season.
Exactly.
Looks
And
like
then
they done. But then Nick Foles comes in, right? Shining knight in white armor on a white horse, coming in. Takes his helmet off with his little stubbly hair flowing in the wind.
That's the perfect conspiracy theory. I mean, that's a perfect story.
He's
that's
a hero.
Movies. Movies are made like that. So I like that story, and I think it's cool. But
I mean, and also like one thing I'll say for before we get into the actual game because we haven't even talked about the game yet, is you see the team. The team plays better for Nick Foles. Chris Long.
I think they're playing for their life.
No, I'm not even talking about. They're not playing for their life because if you look at the beginning of this, look at even right at the point when the last time the Saints and Eagles played was Week 11.
Okay.
Saints went 45 points to Eagles 7 points. Okay. Carson Wentz threw 2 interceptions the back half of the game. While the Saints were driving late in the game, Drew Brees was at 4th and 5. They went for it on 4th down. They were just kind of going out there hanging out. He threw a little lob pass to Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara torched it for a 32-yard touchdown by accident. By complete accident. Dude was playing wide receiver, out of position at wide receiver. And on the end, he's running up the seam.
Okay.
And the Eagles were just playing bad. But when you come in and you tell me that if you told me that the Eagles team, not Nick Foles was going to beat the Rams, and that the defense was going to play and stop the Rams, pick Jared Goff off 3 times, and Nick Foles was going to beat them 24-21 or whatever that 3-point difference was at. If you told me the Eagles were going to do all that and then go and play the Texans and beat the Texans and also going to go in and win against the who was it? The Giants? No, Redskins. Beat the Redskins.
They've been in playoff mode for the last.
They've been in playoff mode for the past 4 or 5 weeks because that's what they had to win out to make it. Ever since that Carson Wentz low back stress fracture, whatever kind of lies they be saying, so they get to play Nick Foles.
But I'm gonna tell you this. I feel what you're saying, but when it comes down to it, this is gonna be in
the team just plays better for Nick Foles. They believe in Nick Foles.
Chris
Long and Fletcher Cox built a shrine in their lockers to Nick Foles.
Hear me. That's funny. But here's what it is. At the end of the day, you going down to what do they call
New Orleans, the Superdome.
Yeah, the big nasty, dirty
Superdome, brother.
Whatever it is. Hey, listen. They gonna be ready. And all of that stuff is going to stop. The whole Nick Foles love affair that people have will come to a crashing halt because the Saints, that nasty.
Who that
era?
Who that era?
They're gonna come and they gonna put that.
And I
Eagles.
think so too. I honestly, now here's the thing: is I do believe that even though I'm a Philly fan, Sean Payton did a astonishingly, ballsy move. He walked in first day of practice on Tuesday with four security guards.
Yep. $250,000 in cash.
The Lombardi Trophy.
And
looked at the entire locker room and said, "You all want this? go win 3 explicitive games.
Yep. And they went crazy.
And the locker room was insanely turned up.
And I feel that. And
So
I think
I'm looking
because
right
of
now,
that,
I think
they gonna be in the dance. The Chiefs gonna have to take them out, but they're gonna be in the dance.
So predictions, what y'all got?
Hey, who you got?
Get on the mic.
I got Eagles.
Okay.
Oh man, can I pick both? Can I just pick
Good.
both? I'll take.
Your heart says,
My heart says Eagles, man.
but your mind says
Saints
It's the
got it.
Saints.
Saints gonna beat that. Saints gonna
it's-
beat them down.
it's the Saints. There's gonna be no, I guarantee. The Saints are gonna put a whooping down.
All right.
It would be a great story. It'd be a great story. If
It
Philly
will.
does,
It would be,
but-
and I hope I'm
Eagles
wrong.
gonna win.
And I hope I'm wrong. All right, so everybody, run through your predictions one time, Marquise. Run through all
All
4
right.
predictions. Who you got
Chiefs,
winning?
Chiefs. All right, that's all I got right there. Chiefs. 4 Chiefs. All right, you got the Chiefs. You got the I'm telling you, conspiracy theory Chargers. I'm gonna go ahead and go with LA because I can't stand them Cowboys. And then who that?
All right. X, who you got?
Chiefs. Then it was not Chargers.
Cowboys, Rams,
Rams.
Chargers,
And then-
Patriots,
Chargers. Not Chargers. Patriots.
and then Eagles.
Eagles.
All right, and I'm coming out here with the Chiefs. I'm thinking the Cowboys are unfortunately going to beat the Rams. And I know that's not a popular opinion, especially in this room, but I just feel like the Cowboys are trending up enough. And I
can't
think I
stand
finished
them
my conversation
Cowboys.
saying the Rams are going to win, but I think I'm going to change my mind and change my opinion, saying that the Cowboys are just playing too good right now. That defense, they're the number 1 rushing defense. They're holding away. They're holding down the run. They're stopping stuff on the pass. I just think that the Cowboys are going to, they're going to be hosting the NFC Championship, and they're going to – or no, they won't be. They could have been if the Eagles win, which I'm still hoping they do.
Nah.
But Cowboys, so I'm thinking Chiefs, Cowboys, Patriots, and Saints. So I want to thank everybody for coming in and listening to all this talk and all this nonsense, and all that. All this nonsense. I want to thank everybody, and I hope y'all have a blessed day.